Hey guys, it's your girl Ashley.
Hey guys, it's your girl Ashley, and today I'm doing a sit down type video, which I have not done in a while. Today I'm sitting down to talk about my favorite things about story writing. So this is kind of limited to, I guess, fanfiction. For those who don't know, my first kind of stint on social media was an app called Wattpad. I don't know if many people have heard of it, but Wattpad is what I used to use when I was like 12. And I used to write stories, fan fiction of like my favorite YouTubers and stuff. It's kind of cringy. Now, I wasn't one of those writers that wrote like smut, or what did we call it back then? Lemon. I didn't write any of that kind of stuff. None of that was my forte. Nothing was romance. Everything was angst. Just pure sadness and hatred and yeah, so I'd write various stories. So I think I still have some up. So, you know, I'll throw up the story covers to them either side of me and stuff. When I first started writing, obviously I had like other stories that I didn't finish. Or stories that I deleted later on. So the first ever story that I wrote is very cringy, but the first ever story I wrote, if I do find the cover, I will place it next to me. But I did delete it because it was really bad and I was like 11, 12 years old. So yeah, that was like my first writing thing. It was called Saved by YouTubers. It's really bad. It's so embarrassing. But the second story I wrote, which is still up on Wattpad if you'd like to go read it, it's not the best, I want to be honest. Again, I was like 13, 14. Overrun. The zombie apocalypse story. And it started off as a PewDiePie fanfiction. PewDiePie and Marzia are in a zombie apocalypse. And what are they going to do when they bump into this girl and they got to look after this girl? It's very, very stereotypical, I'm going to be honest. It's like 50 chapters long as well. It's bad. Then the next thing I wrote, I'm going to say the next thing I wrote that I finished, because I used to start a lot of stories and never finish them. The third story, that I wrote, The World's Most Wanted. I'm going to put it this side. The World's Most Wanted. This is about PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye in like a little mafia group thing. I really liked writing about mafia stuff. I'm not going to lie. You'll see a pattern. But I wrote that, and then a good friend of mine, Migs, he wrote a sequel to it, and he wrote all of that, but I showcased it on my Wattpad because, like, I started the series, if that makes sense. So him writing it, he allowed me to put it on my page because it was like a continuation of the series. So yeah, there's that one, and then the next one that I wrote, Notorious. Which, if you've been a long time subscriber of the channel, you will know about this trailer video that I made in 2019 for that book. I really enjoyed writing it, and I think to this day it's still one of my best works. But Notorious was about BTS as a mafia group. But it's something I really enjoyed writing, and I put a lot of thought into it. And yeah, regarding my writing past, I can now move on and actually talk about my favorite things about story writing. So if you stayed through all of that, I appreciate you.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now.
Here we go. Here are my favorite things about story writing. There's about 5 points, I think. Probably about 5 points, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the first one. I'm reading off of a little notepad here, so like just bear with me. My first thing that I really enjoy about story writing is that story writing is like similar to daydreaming in a way. The only thing is you're not just laying there and dreaming about it, you're physically like writing what's happening and like describing what's around you. It's really cool because it's like placing yourself in like a universe, you know what I mean? Like, say if you wrote about like the Marvel universe, let's say, and you're describing like, God, I don't know. I haven't seen all the Marvel films, I'm sorry. But like, you know, if you're describing like a fight scene from a Marvel film, you know, you're placing yourself in the universe, you're kind of like imagining that you're there in a way, because you have to describe the surroundings and what everything looks like and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool. It's like a way of just daydreaming, but you're like, it's like lucid dreaming in a way. It's like lucid dreaming, but you're not asleep. It's quite a nice feeling, because it's very it's just cool to kind of imagine that I'm not in my bedroom surrounded by 5 beige walls and lighting. It's one thing I've always enjoyed about story writing. It's like I'm dreaming in a way. That's just the best way to explain it. It's like I'm dreaming. So yeah, that's my first point. My second point, one of my other favorite things about story writing is that you can take inspiration from absolutely anything. So I mentioned like a Marvel movie or the Marvel Cinematic Universe earlier. You can take inspiration from anything. Someone could write a song, and the lyrics to that song could be a prompt for a one-shot you want to make. Yeah, it's just, you can take music, TV shows, just anything, and you can make it into a story. It's so cool, because someone can make a song and it could have one meaning, you know, from like the songwriter's point of view, and someone else can interpret it in a different way and then make a story out of it, which I think is so clean. How you can take art, look at it in a different way, and then like make it into something else or make another story out of it. I just think it's so cool that art can be recycled. Sounds bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. Art can be like recycled and recreated to make newer things, you know? So like a song from like 10 years ago could create a story today that's like, that like blows up and becomes crazy. Like, let me think. I have an example, I know I do. So I was in the middle of editing and I, you know, used good old-fashioned Google. And I figured out what I was supposed to say here. So, hi, shaky hand. I think we're good though. Let me do this. Is it working? Anyway, I remember what I was going to say. So, what I was supposed to say was that 50 Shades of Grey was supposed to be, or was from, a Twilight fanfiction. So 50 Shades of Grey, like as a story, all the characters are from Twilight. Yeah, you know, fun little fact. Fun little fact. Now, back to the video. Oh, I know I do. They changed the names and made it an actual story. And that was like so successful. So yeah, it's really cool that like you can just recycle art and make it into different things. And I think that's a really awesome thing about story writing as well. Because someone could make one prompt, and like I said earlier, when I wrote The World's Most Wanted and my friend made a second part to it with how he would want, like, not want things to happen. It's a very dark story, but like how he would envision things happening. You know what I mean? Like continuing the story from his POV, how he would think it would go out. And I just think it's so cool because everyone has different perspectives. Everyone has different views, pointers, experiences. You can bring your own experiences into writing, and I just think it's so clean. And yeah, it's just really cool that you can take inspiration from practically anything and just make whatever you want. Like I could make a description of me just sat here recording this video, you know? Like it's just really cool, and I could just describe every little detail of my room, and it's just really cool how you can just bring anything to life with a simple descriptive paragraph. Third point, pretty simple and straightforward. Story writing for me is very therapeutic. It kind of just helps me take my mind off of things that I'm worried about, and I really just, it's just relaxing. I really enjoy it, and in a good way, it's distracting. So if I'm like anxious or something, I can be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this. I'm gonna make this story, and it's gonna be good. Admittedly, like I said earlier, I wrote loads of stories, and those were like obviously huge products and projects because they had like 25 to 50 chapters per book. So nowadays I don't have a lot of time to write big stories like that anymore. I recently started making like one-shot type things. Yeah, that's been really, it's my way of kind of trying to ease back into story writing and stuff. I think it's something I definitely needed because I've finally found that little spark that's kept me going into story writing. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, the cover's not much, but you know, it's here. But if you want to check that out, I'll have links to my Wattpad and my AO3. And yeah, I'm hoping it will help me get back into story writing, even if I don't write a huge book like I used to, you know? I'm not a school kid anymore, so, you know, life can get busy sometimes. Okay, my fourth point is that when you're story writing, you get to learn a lot of new words and like ways to write about things. In turn, this makes your search history very suspicious. So, like, you know, say if you're writing something and you're like, oh, he looked across the room with a distant gaze in his eyes. And you want to, like, replace one of those words. You're like, okay, I don't want to use the word gaze. Let me look up and see if I can find any other synonyms. And you'll look for, like, different ones. And usually I find the most obscure one. I find the most obscure one and I take it. I'm like, okay, is this description good? So I'll, like, click on it. I'll look at it. I'll be like, okay, I'll take it. So I take it and I put it to my work. So it's a good way to learn new words. But in turn, if you're trying to find a way to write about something, or you have to write about, you want to write specifically about, like, for example, because I did mafia stories, guns and stuff and weapons. I had to Google weapons and guns. I don't know what my secret little agent behind the camera was thinking, but yeah, my search history is not the best. So it'd be like, Vietnamese knife. See Notorious for more details. AK-47 brands. Like, it would just look really bad. Like, I'm pretty sure I looked up an incendiary grenade for the purpose of a story. Like, it's bad. Like, people would think I'm going to, like, attack somebody. The amount of, like, weapons I've had to research because of the type of stories that I write. So yeah, besides the search history looking really suspicious, it's just really, it's really cool to, like, find out, like, different things about stuff like that, like guns and stuff. And it's just, you know, it's like a history lesson that you volunteered for. It's a history lesson you volunteered for. It's an English lesson because you're learning new words. It's great. Probably a spelling bee test as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So I don't know. My fifth point is that it's fun to write about characters that have a lot of depth. Am I saying that right? I am. It's fun to write about characters that have a lot of depth and a lot of substance. So best example I can give. Lately, I've been really, what's the word for this? Infatuated, maybe, with the character Grey Atkins on the show EastEnders. It's a British soap opera. I don't know if anyone watches it. That's international, but you know. Anyway, besides all the terrible things he's done, I won't spoil anything, but you know, there'll probably be some images somewhere. I'll show a little clip or something while I'm talking. It's interesting to see the complexity of his character and the way he thinks and why he acts the way he does. Like, for example, Grey's a very charming character to everyone else. Strangers, family, very charming, very much a gentleman. You know, he's well kept. He's always got a suit on. His hair's always like brushed back. He's like a canvas that has to be perfect. You know what I mean? He has to keep up this like image, you know? But then later on in the show, we see like a darker side of him and we find out he's abusive and he craves control and he likes power and stuff like that. And he's also very manipulative. You know, the abuse is not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental. He gets inside your head.
You think I'd hurt our baby?
Where are you going? Gray!
And in no way am I praising any of his actions, but I think it's just, I've never had the joy. I've never had the joy to write about such a complex character. And I think that was my thing when I was younger. Like, I wrote so many stories and wrote about so many different people and characters and my depictions of them. But even at the young age of 12, they didn't have that much substance, you know, they didn't have that much depth, that many layers, you know? And I think now that I'm at the age I am, writing about a character like Gray, it's nice because, you know, I understand things a bit better now at the age I'm at. And it's nice to just dissect the layers and really like go into depth with it, you know? And it's something that I think taking a break from story writing and like forgetting about it when like the pandemic hit and stuff, I guess it helped me to kind of appreciate like TV shows and movies and stuff like that more. So now that I've come back to it, I see things in a different light and I write things differently how I did them when I was younger. And yeah, it's really cool because now I have this like motivation to write because I want to write about so many different things. And like, I just want to write about characters with more substance and more complexity and more, you know, not just, oh, like their partner died and this happened. Like, we want to find out why they are the way they are and make them as complex as possible without it being too confusing. I think that's what I want to do because it's just nice to have a character that's so deep and so crazy. And I think that's why lately I've had this kind of infatuation with writing, because it's just fascinating to see a character with so much going on and how well they're trying to hide it. So yeah. Yeah, that's my last point. It's fun to have characters that are so 4-dimensional, 3-dimensional, you know, have so many angles and stuff. So yeah. So yeah, that was my 5 favorite things about story writing. I kind of went on a tangent a little bit like at the start and stuff. I know I was talking a lot, I'm so sorry. But I feel like I don't do sit down videos enough, and I think it's nice to talk so much about something I'm passionate about. But I know it's something different and I don't know if everyone's gonna enjoy it, and that's okay. I'm simply just creating what I want to create. And yeah, maybe people will like these sit down videos, but if you do, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want me to talk more about any story writing stuff, or like have more videos about story writing, and maybe do a dramatic reading of some of my old fan fictions, please let me know, like in the comments or something. Please make sure you read the description as well for the links to my Wattpad, my AO3, my social media, etc., my Twitch and my SoundCloud. And yeah, I sincerely appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all in my next video.